Mohana, can you hear me?
Audible.
Audible. I need to check.
Maria Asa. Maria Asa.
Maria, ठीक है. I know. Slightly Tamil I can read. So good afternoon, friends. So yesterday one more student was there. She has not come. What happened?
She was senior student.
Huh.
Just doubt. Just,
Earlier she has already taken. Okay. 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 What is he saying? Rakas and then please video available. Something is asked. Text. So yesterday, various reasons, causes of French Revolution we have seen. Political reasons, the administrative structure, social reasons, uh, privileged, unprivileged, clergy, first estate, second estate, third estate. Then economic reason were the immediate reason, as well as for last 50 years, 100 years, the economic condition was going down. Then role of philosophers we have seen, they have put fuel in the fire. In Indian, if you compare this with Indian national freedom struggle also, yeah. Philosophers, you see, there is no black and white supporting the clergy or supporting the whatever. For example, Voltaire, you cannot say he was supporting the clergy. He was condemning the church or the, you see, even you compare today's life also. If I ask you a question, whether you are supporting the religious gurus or you are not supporting the religious guru, what will be your answer? Same. So why Voltaire was condemning the church? Whatever church is supposed to do, that is not being done, right? So they were. I'll take example of Voltaire only. So he was condemning the evils in the church, not exactly the church is bad, right? So what are the wrongs in the system? That is what same for that matter. Rousseau, he was talking about social contracts. He is saying when king forgets his duties and responsibility, you have every right to throw him away, right? He is not saying king is bad. So that contract should be respected by the king. So that was his motive. And now in this case, at that time, the situation was king was not bothered, or for that matter, the state was not bothered about common people. So you are saying you have every right to protest, every right to throw them away. So that was the thing. Uh, now, today, before going ahead, we are going to note down the sequence of events. What are the events that have happened in so-called French Revolution? Okay. So before that, some more clarity about politico-administrative situation. I'll give you just one or two points which I did not mention yesterday. I'll mention it today. So we have mentioned king was autocratic, king was despotic, whatever he felt like that he used to implement, making law, judgment, judiciary, or anything. So overall control was in the hands of the king. But there was a body called as, one is estate general, another body was Parliament of Paris. This is not basically the today's parliament. It was kind of a judicial body. Judicial body. The role of this body was, whenever suppose king passes some order or the state passes some order, for example, the prime minister of the king, he passes some order. This parliament will analyze that order and this will say whether that order will be implemented or not. That was the role of this body. And the members of this body were aristocrats, judges, etc. Okay. Now, what was the situation? These aristocrats, for example, some cousin of the king or somebody will be there. He was also might be in the power struggle. I'll capture the power. So the equation of these guys who were member of this Parliament of Paris was generally not good with the king, because ultimately when king's royal orders are coming, Parliament is supposed to scrutinize those orders, right? So that is why that friction was there. For example, nowadays, the central government and judiciary, slight friction we can see. Why? Because when center gives some order, judiciary puts a check on that. So that friction is bound to be there. Okay. But at the time, most of the times what used to happen, either, for example, king passed some order. When they create some problem in that order, king used to get them arrested, or some kind of harassment they used to do. Like here nowadays, some pressure they put. Like on judiciary also some pressure is being put, right? So similar was the situation. So it depends upon time to time. Sometimes these guys were in the strong position, sometimes king was in the strong position to dispose them. Are you understanding the situation? Okay. So in 1789, when American War of 1776 American War of Independence has happened, and France reached at the verge of bankruptcy in 1789 because of participation in the American War of Independence. Now, when this implementation of new budget system, who will be taxed because new revenues are needed, when this proposal was proposed by the king, this body came into picture. Are you understanding? So, in 1789, what has happened? King, who was the king? Yesterday I have told Louis XVI, and which dynasty? Bourbon dynasty. Bourbon dynasty. So, what has happened when he came into power? 1773 or so, he came into power. American War of Independence has happened in 1776. Okay, so immediately after coming into power, jumped into American War of Independence. The situation was very bad. So what he did right from starting, he appointed many finance ministers to bring France out of this tough financial situation. Example of the names not needed. I'll just mention 2-3 names. One was somebody called as Necker. One was Brian. One was Colony. So whenever these guys, these finance ministers, they proposed कि some kind of taxation we have to take from the first estate and second estate, they were opposed, and somehow due to conspiracy or pressure on the king, they were generally taken off from their post. So that was the situation. Now at the end, some of the finance ministers realized that this way it is not going to work. I have to please these people. I have to take some loan and please these people. Then ultimately, everybody realized that without imposing tax properly, France is not going to come out of the situation. Okay, so it was proposed by last person, Colonne, that let us impose some tax on first estate and second estate. Okay. But pressure was there. King said, no, 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 no. I will impose tax only on the third estate. Third estate means farmers, artisans, etc. First estate is priests, clergy, etc. Second estate is nobles, bureaucrats, aristocrats. Okay. So king said, no, I will implement or I will impose tax only upon farmers, artisans, and these common people. Okay. Now, because of the circumstances at that time, Parliament of Paris, it came into picture. They said, if you are going to put this law, it has to be passed by us, and we recommend that if such taxation has to be imposed, meeting of estate generals has to be called. Yesterday I told, na, estate generals. So meeting meeting of estate generals. So who proposed? Parliament of Paris said, if new tax has to be imposed upon the commoners, meeting of estate general has to be called. Now this meeting of estate general for last almost 100 years, it was not called. Okay. Last it was called around 1650 or so. So this meeting of estate general has not been called. Now there is a friction between Parliament of Paris and king is forced to call meeting of estate general. Obviously, king will not like it. Okay, but he called. Are you understanding? Right. So for imposition of tax on common people, Parliament of Paris proposed that meeting of estate general has to be called. King arbitrarily, at this point of time, we will not allow king to impose tax on the common people. So now the sequence of event will start. So we will note down the sequence of events. Okay. So first thing is what happened? Okay. So first event is 5th May 1789. King was forced to call meeting of estate general. Whether king was liking this meeting? No, it was against his wishes. Okay. Now, who were the members of estate general? Now you understand what is Parliament of Paris. Parliament of Paris, aristocrats and the judges, etc. And estate general, all three estates are there. First estate, second estate, and third estate. Okay, all three estates are there. And voting rights, no, first of all, number of members. For example, just example, if we take, if it is 100, it is also 100. Third estate is 200. Earlier it was also 100. During the time of Louis XIV, he was a noble king. He thought that people will be exploited, so better I'll give them more number. So this is how it was there. Okay, but the voting rights were one vote for this, one vote for this, one vote for this group, and 1 watt for this group. Okay, so that was the thing at this point of time also 1789. Okay. Now 5th of May, when this meeting was called, king was supposed to announce the tax will be imposed or something. King came, gave his presidential speech, and that's all. He did not talk anything, and he went. So it was not expected by the third estate, especially common people. They were having some expectations from the meeting. Then again, 6th of May, just for understanding, we are noting down these things. In these events, only 1 or 2 events will be there, which will be utilized in your question. Okay, but generally books confuse us. What happened in French Revolution, we are not able to understand. That is why I am giving the sequence of incidents so that you are clear what picture was happening, and then you will be in better position to answer. Okay, so 6th of May, people generally confuse here only. Many of the academies I have seen, they generally confuse here only, confuse the staff candidates. So 6th of May 1789, these guys gathered again. These meetings were conducted in some royal palace was there. There were chambers. Okay. So when 6th of May these guys got together, king said कि voting will be 1-1-1. First estate group 1 vote, second estate group 1 vote, and third estate 1 vote. But commoner said because we are double in number, the voting should be based upon head count. Head count. So for example, 100 1 vote hai, to 200 means 2 votes should be there. So commoners were saying voting should be based upon head count. The first estate, second estate, they were saying the voting should happen on the basis of order. This is called as order. 1 vote, 1 vote. Right. Then king said ki all 3 of you sit in separate chamber and decide. So 6th of May also nothing has happened. Okay. So king said you guys sit in separate chamber and decide about taxation. Okay, and you can write here dispute about voting. So there was a dispute about voting. Now, this thing kept on continuing. Now, first chamber they went to their, so first estate they went to their chamber, second estate to their chamber, third estate they said we did not think about this. This was not the thing to be done. We were supposed to pass the bill where tax will be imposed. So they kept on coming daily and they kept on sitting at the same place. Okay. Now what has happened on 20th of let me open the thing. 1 minute. So 20th of June. So 20th of June, when the third estate or the commoners came to the palace of Versailles, so the place was Palace of Versailles. So in this palace, this meeting was happening. So when on 20th of June, the commoners came there, The palace, the place where the meeting was happening was locked. They were not allowed to enter. King said, you go to your respective chamber and make the law and discuss and then come. But commoners were adamant, no, no, we want to make here only, and all together only have to make all the three estates. So finally, 20th of June, the meeting chamber was locked by the king, and he said, will not allow you like this. So what these guys did, nearby one tennis court was there, and it was covered tennis court. So these guys went there and they took the oath that we will frame the constitution. Achha, before this one event I have missed, that we will note down. So this oath is called as tennis court oath. So basically they are defying the orders of the king. Like this farmers protest were happening now. They blocked the road, they put some spikes, etc. Like that things were happening. Slowly things are moving between king and the common people, or the first estate, second estate, and king, and other side common people. Okay, so before this 6th May and 20th of June, like this friction was there. So on 12th of June, when first estate and second estate were not coming together with these guys, they declared themselves as the National Assembly. They said, we are the National Assembly, we will make law for ourselves. Okay. So third estate, they declared themselves as the National Assembly. So they declared themselves as National Assembly. Okay, you guys are not coming with us, don't come. We are the assembly, we will make law for ourselves. Law is made in the assembly, no? Right? Parliament or assembly. So we will make law or we will frame constitution for ourselves. And then 20th of June also they try to do that together. Then the chamber was locked and they sat in the tennis court because that time rain was happening. So this is called as tennis court oath. So basically, step by step, they are defying the orders of the king. Okay. Now, situation is getting tense. Situation was getting tense. Friction was getting like you can have the analogy in the mind of the protest of the farmers. Initially peaceful, then something has happened, then somebody moved the tractor over and some violence has happened, like Red Fort violence has happened. Do you recall the farmers protest? One day, the 26th of January, they were protesting in Delhi, no? So that time Red Fort incident has happened. So like that situation was there. So 23rd of June, 23rd of June, these guys, first estate, second estate, they also agreed, okay, we will sit with these guys. And finally, under pressure, 27th of June, this National Assembly was recognized by the king. Okay, so 23rd of June, first plus second plus third estate came together, and 27th of June, National Assembly was recognized by the king. So certain kind of victory for the common people, right? So king was forced to recognize that body. Now, obviously, king was not happy with this. after this recognition, you see, that is the mentality of the mob. When something is accepted, they become enthusiastic. So after this, what they did, they started teasing the nobles, aristocrats. They started like looting something, or that courage, that confidence. Sometimes mob, it is not easy to control, right? So this was a kind of back foot from the king, but more enthusiasm in the mob. So after this, some incidents of slight violence, slight teasing of the nobles started. King obviously was not liking this. So some policeman or some army was being arranged by king to manage the things, to control the things. For example, if we again have the analogy of farmers protest, so central government was also putting police barricades. They were arranging policemen from Noida and this side Delhi. So likewise, some soldiers, Swiss soldiers, etc., king was planning to arrange. This is one thing. Second thing is, in autocracy there is always conspiracy against you. So some of the relatives or some of the nephew, etc., they were planning to topple the king. Okay, so they were also playing some spoiling game in between. Plus, the leaders of the mob were also aggressive in their speech. So what has happened? Situation became so much that people thought, or an idea went into the minds of the people, that king is planning to suppress the people. He is going to use force against the people. So like that, some rumors were going on. Okay, so king is bringing some soldiers or some support from Swiss soldiers and German soldiers. So German means Prussian, and they are going to suppress the mob in the Paris. Okay, so this was the situation. Plus, at that time, drought, etc., were there. Some of the hungry mob, they attacked some of the shops, etc. So they were also attacking the uh, people or the rich people, or for their food. So this was the situation. On one side, king is having apprehension. On the other side, common people are having apprehension. They are also attacking the nobles, etc. So that was the situation. So under these rumors, it was put in the mind of the people that king is congregating force and king is collecting weapons, and ultimately those things will be used against the people. So on 14th of July, an angry mob attacked the fort of Bastille. Fort of In the fear that king is going to attack, better we will attack the fort and we will capture the. In this fort, weapons were there, ammunition was there. So this mob attacked to capture the weapons. Basically, ammunition was there. Weapons earlier they have captured to great extent, and here also some weapons were there. And here they killed around 300, 400 people. Okay, so mob, for example, mob enters parliament, or mob enters prime minister residence, or mob enters president's house and kill many people and capture the things. That was the scenario. So from here, violence starts. So the violent character of French Revolution starts from Bastille. Okay. So 1789 National Assembly was recognized. Now the role of National Assembly was to frame the constitution. Okay. So next 2 years, this violence was happening in the streets. Here, basically, king was reduced in power when these attacks were happening. And what has happened after this? Many nobles, aristocrats, fled away from France to Prussia, Austria. So when these attacks became more and more, and these attacks were happening on the first estate and second estate people only, so they started fleeing away from France. So either they went to Prussia or they went to Austria. So these guys, the members of first estate and second estate who fled from France and went to Austria and Prussia, these guys were termed as emigres. Right. So now violence is going on, some attacks are happening, and parallelly framing of the constitution is happening. And king is beleaguered. Beleaguered means king is reduced in power. Okay, for the namesake he is king, but the control has been taken by the common people now, third estate, because everywhere terror is there. This ammunition is captured, and they are attacking the police station. They're because you see loyalty of the army anyways it was compromised because so many years war was happening and continuously soldiers were fighting war for the France, huge economic burden on France, and they were not even paid their salary on time. So the demotivation was there. Okay. So whenever sometimes there was a situation, the mob is attacking, king gives order to the soldier to control, but they did not oblige many a times. So that was the situation. Okay. So by and large, third estate taken control of France. Now, 1789 to 1791. Framing of the Constitution. Meanwhile, the situation reached to that extent that king was kept in house arrest. Okay, so he was confined to palace. King was confined to in 1791, but he was the head of the state. Anyway, he was not deposed, but the powers were curbed. Okay, and during these 2 years, that feudal system and this corvée, the forced labor, etc., these taxations were removed. So this assembly was framing constitution. In between, they were bringing different laws. Okay. So ultimately, 1791 constitution was framed for France. Constitution, and it was accepted by the king. The constitution was accepted by the king. So France is having a monarch as the head, but it is also having a constitution. So France became a constitutional monarchy from monarchy. Okay. So earlier it was monarchy, now it became constitutional monarchy in 1792. Right. Now, so as per the provisions of the constitution, elections were supposed to be conducted, and the provision of the constitution were such that whatever this national assembly was formed, it will dissolve itself, and elections will be conducted. For example, our constituent assembly, our constitution was framed by whom? Constituent assembly, right? And ultimately, after implementation of constitution, they dissolved. Earlier, they were acting as the parliament as well as constitution framing body. And after implementation of what do you call constitution, that Constituent Assembly got dissolved and Parliament comes into picture. So same was the situation. This National Assembly was supposed to be dissolved, and elections were supposed to be conducted. And then many parties like Congress, BJP, etc. So many groups were there who participated in the elections. Okay, some of the names we will note down. उसमें से एक दो नाम है important which we have to remember because they will play their role. Okay, so various groups, or you can say parties, they were not exactly parties, the groups which participated in the election. So one group was royalists. So as the name suggests, they will be supporter of whom? Royalists. Royalist will be supporter of the king, right? So supporter of. Then there were Democrats. There were constitutionalists. Etc. Various groups were there. In Democrats, two groups were there: Jacobins and Girondists. Girondis. Gironde was a place in France. Okay, so these guys belong to that place. So these two guys were Democrats. So ultimately, after election, Democrats were able to hold the power. Okay. Now, in this also, the Girondists were a bit mild in their approach. Means they were okay with the king also, but they were pro people, no problem in that. Jacobins were furious, aggressive, purely anti-king, anti-royalist, anti-nobilist. So they were very aggressive and violent. Okay. Now, so Jacobins, this name you have to remember, and Girondist also you can remember. Jacobins. Why they are Jacobins? There are Jacobin church. So they were follower of those kind of church. So that was they are called as Jacobins. Now, in 1792, what has happened? Should I say? When the situation in France was getting deteriorated, nearby states, for example, Afghanistan nowadays, if terrorism increases in Afghanistan, can we sleep peacefully? We are also, we will be worried. It may spill over to us also. So same as the situation when the situation in France was deteriorating, common people have taken over, violence is happening. The nearby state, Prussia and Austria, they were worried. And moreover, as you can remember, Queen Mary Antoinette, she was Princess of Austria. Okay, and they were having a relation in Prussia also. So when violence and the situation was going out of control in France, Prussia and Austria were worried. Moreover, during this time, what mistake or whatever, they some of the royal person, like we call them Duke, you know, na, the in charge of one particular area. So Duke of particular place, he said that if king and queen were touched, we will burn the Paris. So they made a statement like that. Now people are going to be furious, right? Moreover, Prussia and Austria, what they were doing, they were attacking. For example, this is France, here it is Prussia, here it is Austria. Okay, I'm not showing Rhineland area as of now, I'm just showing it. So they were attacking, they were trying to control the violence in the France. Now when such attacks were happening, the king and queen, they were making communication with Prussia and Austria. They were giving them the secret ki these people, they are going to attack this way or that way. The commoners, they got to know that. Okay, so April 1792, France declared war on Austria and Prussia. France means the commoners, the assembly decided, assembly was dissolved anyway, whatever body was there, they decided to attack Prussia. So king was forced to declare war on Prussia and Austria. Anyway, king is still there. And these guys, these revolutionaries, they were fighting the war, but they were getting defeated at every place. Now they got to know that king and queen are communicating secretly with Austria and Prussia. So finally, king and queen were captured. Okay, so king was captured first. There was a situation, king had to run away. He was running away in the fields and he was captured, and the king was executed. So king was captured in 1793, I think. Let me see the exact timeline. So fall of Bastille has happened here. So war with Austria and Prussia was declared in April. King was captured in September. September itself, king was captured. Okay. When king is captured, the common people said, now we will not have any king. There will be somebody who will take place of the king. So monarchy, constitutional monarchy, now France will become republic. Okay. So king was captured, was about to be executed. Then who will take the place of king? In normal republic, somebody called as president takes the place of the king. Here, this body, National Convention, was formed. So National Convention will play the role of the head of the state, or through that National Convention we are going to execute the things. So this will be the executive body. So France became republic after executing the king in January 1793. Okay, National Convention took charge. So there is a transition, monarchy, constitutional monarchy, and then republic. It will again become monarchy. You see, France has gone at least 5-6 times through this cycle. Okay. So National Convention was formed in September 92. Okay. So 1792 September, National Convention. This is an executive body or a legislative body? It should be executive body. It is executive body, right? Then January 1793, king was executed. King was captured, and there is a word called as guillotine. Have you heard this word, guillotine? There will be a blade kind of thing. The head of the king will be kept like this and kata. The head will be chopped. So the king was guillotined. There is a motion in parliament also, guillotine motion. So whenever a bill is proposed and the speaker does not want to discuss that and they want to pass or they want to close it, so they guillotine the motion. So immediately that law will be either passed or whatever, it can be stopped at that point. So king was executed in 1793. Now, next 2 years, 1793 and 1794, lot of violence has happened because you see, on one side, Prussia has attacked, Austria has attacked, they were fighting. And this side, the royalists, king was captured, whoever royal family members, aristocrats, they were doubted by the Jacobins that these guys are hand in glove with Prussia and Austria. So whoever they were doubting, they were capturing and they were killing. So Jacobins were main people who were creating violence. Do you recall Jacobins? No. They came in power, right? They were elected. So they were doubting that all these guys are loyal to king. Whoever was found loyal to king, whoever was found anti-revolutionary against the revolution, they used to capture him, they used to kill him. So more than 40-50,000 people were killed. Killed means guillotine or they were shot. So a lot of violence was happening during those 2 years, 1793 and 1794. So that period is called as 1793 to 94. That period is called as Reign of Terror. Reign of Terror. So 1793 to 94, Reign of Terror. Lot of violence is happening in France. Okay. Once you will go through this timeline, it will be okay because first time it looks like so many things are there, but it is nothing. Just 5-6 lines only we have written. Okay, tomorrow also means next class also we will have one revision. It will be okay. It's not a history class. That is the thing. Next class if you will revise, you will find out nothing we have studied. So, reign of terror, violence is happening. Now you see what the people of France aspired for. They were thinking by revolution, exploitation will be removed, fraternity will be there, equality will be there. They aspired for that. But what is happening 1789 to 94 now? Almost 5-6 year violence, lot of violence is happening and war is happening. No situation has improved. They revolted for something else, but they did not find whatever they have aspired for. So this situation will set the stage for the rise of Napoleon. Okay. So rise of Napoleon will start from here. Directory. When France became republic, National Convention formed the Directory. Directory was the main executive body which was implementing the laws. Okay. Now people were having expectation. Now things are going to improve. Directory will stop the violence, and taxation structure will improve. Our life will be very happy, or something like that. But directory did not perform very well. There were 5 members. They were fighting among themselves. So they did not play their role, and then rise of Napoleon will happen. Okay, so you can write directory was the main executive body when France became a republic. They did not perform very well. Okay, which ultimately paved the way for rise of Napoleon. Are we going too much into detail? Just for understanding it is okay. We're not going too much into detail. Okay. So reign of terror. And finally 1799, Napoleon will take over the control of France. Okay. 1799, what he will do? He will dissolve the directory. So 1799, Napoleon Napoleon will take over the control and he will dissolve directory. What he will do? He will start a new system which is called as consul system. Directory will be resolved, consul system he will start. Now, here before 1799, France was a republic. Now, slowly, Napoleon will declare himself as the king of France. In 1804, next 5 years, Napoleon will declare himself as the king of France. So, France again will become monarchy. Okay, but it will be constitutional monarchy, right? It will be constitutional monarchy. Now, situation you understood, lot of violence, so many things were there, expectation of the people were not met. This will be the reason for the rise of Napoleon. Now, question is, Napoleon was the child of revolution, and a reaction against revolution. Napoleon was the child of revolution and the reaction against the revolution. We will talk about Napoleon. Now, how he was the child of revolution? As a military commander, he was groomed during these years. He was sent on expedition when this National Assembly was formed. Commoners were there. People are attacking on France, right? Napoleon was the commander who was defending it militarily. He went to Italy. He fought with these guys. So he was groomed as a commander. So Napoleon, as a commanding personality, was groomed by the revolution. Now, people of France, why they supported Napoleon? What he will do? He will dissolve this directly. Nobody say anything. People did not revolt against him because he brought glory to the France by winning Italy, by winning many of the areas which were thought as invincible or unwinnable. So people of France knew there is somebody called as Napoleon who is very brave, who is a good commander, who has brought glory to the France. So people in that way they were liking him. Okay, so one thing. So that made the stature of Napoleon. Now, when he captured the power, why people did not oppose? First thing is because of his stature. He seemed to be a person with metal or a strong person, and people thought he can bring peace. He can resolve many of the issues. People were fed up of the violence. People were fed up of the directory which was not functioning properly. So these were the reactions of the people against the revolution. Directory, etc. They are the outcome of the revolution. Okay. Are you understanding? No. Yes. So people anticipated something, but that anticipation was not meeting. So they were reacting, yeah, we did not aspire for this. We need somebody like Napoleon. So the reaction of the people, we will see this answer in detail. So let us start today's slides. Exit number. So role of philosophers yesterday we have seen. Now next question is why French Revolution happened only in France? French Revolution happened only in France. Why? You see, largely the condition of whole of Europe was similar. Similar. If you talk about kingship, most of the states in Europe were autocracy or monarchy. So political situation all of Europe was similar. Absolute monarchy was there. Spain, Prussia, Austria, France, everywhere absolute monarchy was there. Acha, feudal system was also there by and large everywhere. Feudal system. What is feudal system? Yesterday we have seen feudal system. There will be king. There will be small areas given to the governors. Okay, so they will maintain army in those respective areas. At the time of war, they will provide army and they will collect tax in their respective. So that is the feudal system. Okay, so feudal system was prevalent everywhere, all over Europe. Absolute monarchy was also there. Then nowhere codified laws. Yesterday we were saying laws were not codified. Written constitution was not there. Nowhere in Europe written constitution was there. Situation was by and large similar. Then why revolution happened in France? Okay, so that is the question. Why revolution happened in France? Regime was centralized, social inequality was there, religiously churches were dominant everywhere. So all over Europe, situation was similar. Then why revolution has happened? The answer is by and large larger conditions were similar. The distinct feature of France was its middle class. There was an educated middle class available in France, which was not available in other states. So educated middle class played a very important role in French Revolution. So one of the reasons why revolution happened in France was educated So these were the distinct features of France because of which French Revolution has happened. So educated middle class. Okay. And most of the revolution all over world are led by middle class. Yesterday I was giving an example. For example, a rickshaw puller is there in Chennai. Yesterday I was asking you guys whether you are exploited. Until anybody tells you you are being exploited, you will never get to know that you are being exploited. Okay. So in most of the national struggles, educated middle class is the class which bring awareness among the people. Indian scenario, if you see, Indian national freedom struggle, 1885 Congress was formed, 1885. Before that, if 50 years before Congress, if you see 1830 to 1880, during these years, Surendranath Banerjee, Acha, this guy, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, and so many people were there. These were all educated middle class people. They got their education either from Britain or somewhere. They knew that some exploitation is happening and some superstition is happening, which is not good for country. They make people aware that, bhai, these guys are exploiting you. We have to protest them. So everywhere middle class plays its role. They mobilize the masses. Mass is ignorant. Lower middle class, illiterate mass is ignorant. It is the middle class people who will bring awareness among the lower class. Okay. And most of the countries may maximum population is lower class. Until they are mobilized, struggle will not happen. So same situation here. Middle class played its role. Educated middle class was strong in France. Strong educated middle class. You can write one factor. The feudal system in France. Feudal system was there at other places also. The feudal system in France was unique. How it was unique? The feudal lords, they were enjoying their privileges. So these feudal lords, yesterday if you remember, to weaken them, Louis 14, what he did, you enjoy your privileges, but don't do your duty. You need not maintain army and all those things. So these guys, they were enjoying their privileges, but duty, they were not following. They ignored the welfare of the people. But other parts of Europe, they were given privileges for their duties only. Okay. So that was the difference. So though their duties were taken away, but privileges were not taken away. So what they did, they misused these privileges and they exploited the commoners. They did not take care of the welfare of the commoners. So that anger started erupting. Next, the monarch of France was very weak as compared to other states. Other states, mein king was strong. So next point will be the French monarchy was degenerated. Degenerated means it was in bad shape. The king was weak and inexperienced. So king was weak, feudal lords out of control, whereas in other parts of Europe, kings were strong. And the next important point is role of philosophers. In French Revolution, philosophers played very important role. They ignited the minds of the people. So at the end of this topic, French Revolution Day, we will see various types of questions that can be asked. The content will be same. Yesterday also I was telling the package only they will change. So we'll see different kind of questions. So one question is that when the condition in all over Europe was same, why French Revolution has happened only in France? So then you will tell the monarchy was everywhere. Okay. Then feudal system was everywhere. Then Middle class was also everywhere. What else? What are the other points we have noted down? Huh? Philosophers were there. Then many. These are the special points of France. Uh, Farmers were there. All the points which we have noted down. First, we are talking about whole of Europe. This was there. This was there. This was there. This was there. But in France, this was the special thing. What special thing? Feudal system slightly different. Middle educated, strong educated middle class was there. Then philosophers like Rousseau, they ignited the mind of the people. So like that, and then finally we will conclude that is why revolution happened in France. Another point is French soldiers. They lost their loyalty to the king. One more point is there. French soldiers. French soldiers were dissatisfied with the state because they were continuously involved in the wars and they were not given their salary on time. So the loyalty of the soldiers was also not too much towards the king. That was also one of the reason for the uh, revolution. The next point is treasury empty. Financial condition of the France was inferior to the other places. Another point, if you want to add, is natural calamities happened in France. Drought was there. Because of that, also financial condition got deteriorated. So these are the points why revolution happened in France only. Next time, Napoleon. If you want to take a break, you can take a break, 5 minutes. So now it is 3:22. We will start at 3:30. Okay. What I'll do these slides you please go through. आप एक बार रिवाइज करेंगे, you will find it okay. है ना? First time we feel when we used to study, history was my optional. Whenever I used to sit in the first class, I used to think, yeah, so many things are there. How will I remember? But after 2 revisions, it is okay. Yeah, it's very limited content is there, not much. So how about newspaper? Which newspaper you guys are following? Hindu, Indian Express, nobody. Your this thing, educational background, BE and MBA. Okay, BE which stream? Mechatronics. And MBA? International business. Whatever. So Tamil optional, Tamil literature. Okay. You are planning to take history. Okay. I'll send it now. Are you guys understanding? Your confusion तो नहीं है ना? My style, should I go slow, fast? You please give me feedback. है ना? Is it getting boring or am I getting too much? Why I am getting too much in detail is so that some picture is there. What I'll do at the end of the, for example, that is better. No, what I'll do at the end of the topic, French Revolution, for example, first topic will be over. 3-4 questions I'll give you, so that next week you can bring, or in between you can send over WhatsApp. I'll evaluate. Okay. or you will be writing in Tamil. So Tamil, I can read it slightly, but utna nahi hai. Many of the words I might. You please check it. But nowadays, whether Google में Tamil to English translation is there. So we can do it, na? If translation would be there, then I can evaluate it, है ना? At least I can give a feedback ki what point you should have mentioned. Okay. Then we can do that way. Okay. At least some feedback I can give. Or ma'am will evaluate, no problem. You will evaluate, right? Imposed more taxes on the middle class people. Rather than mentioning middle class, you can mention third estate or the commoners. Commoner will be the appropriate word. You know, he did not impose only on middle class. He imposed on the farmers, artisans, etc. Right. So middle class is a specific group. They were commoners. That is my perception. ये NCERT में दिया हुआ है. Okay. Okay, ma'am. These whatever you have written, this as per this question, whatever you have written, that is okay. The requirement of civil services you have to keep in mind. In your GS paper, this is the main topic, which will come in your GS1 paper 1, where you will get 20 questions in 3 hours. And each question you are supposed to answer within 120 to 150 words. 120 to 150 words. And you have to stick to anyway this question you are sticking to the demand of the question. What is French Revolution? You are asking the basic thing, right? So for example, some other question will be there, then you have to stick to the content of that question only. Within 120 to 150 words you have to complete the answer. Okay, because if you calculate the time for 20 questions and you're writing approximately 6 to 7 minutes you will get for one answer if you want to complete the paper. If you take more time for one answer, then you are going to leave some of the questions. Some of the questions will be left. So it is always better to complete the paper rather than leaving a question. So only 6 to 7 minutes you will get. In those 6 to 7 minutes, first of all, you have to recall the answer का जो data है or the content. Then you have to write the content properly. So that much time. So that will happen with the practice. Fast writing का practice. Abhi though, because we are starting now, you can make the notes. But what I'll do, like French Revolution, 3-4 question at the end of this topic I'm going to give you. Try to finish within 8 minutes. Or if you don't want to time it, that's okay. but try to finish it within 120 to 150 words. Introduction, content, and conclusion. Okay, introduction, content, and conclusion. So that way, answer writing we have to practice. Now, answer writing to save your time. What techniques generally the people preparing in Delhi what they use to do is they use maps, diagrams, tree, etc. in answering. For example, the question asks for example, the question asks for uh, what I was saying. Skip my mind. Reasons of French Revolution. Okay, it talks about reasons of French Revolution. Then what you will do? You can make some kind of tree, political, economic, social, and point you can write. You need not explain. So it will be easier for the examiner also. He will see, okay, wow, it will be easy for him. And more you will make easy for the examiner, more marks you are likely to get. So wherever you can put your answer in points, in diagram, try to put your answer in points and diagram. Notes making you can make your own way, but in your answer writing, try to put your answer either in diagram form or in the points form wherever possible, not everywhere. There will be some question where you need to answer in paragraph only. Okay, so that judiciously you have to judge where you will use points, where you will use paragraph. Okay, keep this thing in mind. You have to make the job of examiner easy. He has to check 1,000 papers. Checking. It is very boring. He is also human being, even though from UPSC. UPSC, what they do? They give your answer sheets to some professor or somebody who will evaluate. He is also a human being. Nobody is perfect. After some time, he will be impressed with the person who has clearly mentioned whatever is the content of the answer, and it is easy for him to understand. So he will be impressed. He will give you some half marks extra. So half marks in one question, 20 question in 10 marks. For GS paper means 40 marks. So like that, difference is made. Okay. So our job now for mains preparation is to do answer writing practice so that our answer is impressive. Okay. So rise of Napoleon. तो पानी वानी पी लेंगे. I'll have some water and come back. So Napoleon started his career through screen sharing. Lady being shared. Host disabled participating screen share. That guy is not. Anyway, so Napoleon, he started his career as a military commander. So first he was a military commander. Because of his military prowess or military power, he came into power. He dissolved the directory and captured the power. So the circumstances in France helped him to rise and sit on the throne of France, or to be the emperor of France. Thank you. So what he did, 3-4 expedition we will mention. First, he went to Italy, Egypt, so those areas. So in those expeditions, he was victorious. For example, nowadays, whom we admire, we as a civil servant, you heard the name of Ajit Doval. Ajit Doval, National Security Advisor. You have not heard. Uh, Jaishankar, S. Jaishankar, right? Our foreign minister. Uh, he is our national security advisor. Okay, IPS officer. I don't know which batch. I have not seen it, but he was in intelligence. He has spent almost, I think, 6 to 7 years in Pakistan. Okay, and he is one of the finest security advisor we have. All internal security issues he comes into picture and resolve. Okay, when you are preparing for civil services, you should have some ideals. Like I was mainly intended to have foreign services, so I used to, that time Nirupama Rao was there, our foreign secretary, when I was preparing, and then Jaishankar. Okay, so you have your ideals. Raghuram Rajan I was very impressed with. So I used to follow him. That time RBI Governor D. Subbarao was there. I used to follow him. So these were the guys whom when I used to see, my blood used to boil. I have to be like them. Okay. So likewise, you guys also pick up some of the bureaucrats whom you admire, who like create bubbles in your blood. Ki, okay, I have to do. Right? We have to do. So that will give you motivation. Yeah, I have to do like this, and pick up one or you see the interviews of the toppers in civil services exam. Pick any one guy. I have to be like him. Okay, so I picked up Gaurav 2011 batch topper. I think 11 batch topper. So I used to follow him. I have to be like him. So then some motivation will come. So whenever we will see these guys in the TV giving interview, we will also feel like I tomorrow I'll also be in this position. That will give us motivation. Okay. So all foreign secretaries, ambassadors, I used to hear them as if tomorrow I am going to speak the same words. Okay. So have your ideals. Ajit Dobal is one of them. Then S. Jaishankar, Raghuram Rajan, one of the finest economists, governor of RBI. I was interested in economics as I was telling because of that. So Napoleon was also having similar kind of rapport during his military time. He went to Italy. He conquered Italy. He brought some democratic changes or changes as per the aspiration of French Revolution, fraternity, etc. Education system he improved, road network he improved, trade system he improved in Italy. So like that he was being inspiration in France. Similarly, he went to Egypt. Militarily, Egypt operation was not so successful, but still, out of those hard circumstances, he created his mark. Okay, so and similarly, this directory, directory I told, directory was the executive body when national convention was there. 5 members were there. The people were dissatisfied with them. They attacked the directory office also. That time Napoleon saved these people. Okay, so the prestige of Napoleon was already as a military man was already there. Even today, when we give example, Napoleon का example देते हैं, right? He was one of the finest military men in the world or even history. You see how disciplined he was. He used to sleep for 5 minutes on sitting on the horseback. So that much control over his body he was having. 5 मिनट का नींद horse पे. So that much control, that much disciplined he was, and he was very quick in his operations. कोई plan किया है फटाफट execute कर दिया. So that way is very inspiring. So obviously the French people they were impressed by him, and then those circumstances, the force of environment created by the revolution in 1789 pushed the Napoleon on the forefront. Like Arvind Kejriwal, he was put to forefront by Anna's movement. Anna Hazare movement was there, na. Arvind Kejriwal came into picture. Now he is Chief Minister of Delhi, and they formed government in Punjab also, right? Role of French Revolution in the rise of Napoleon. Napoleon was son of revolution. The works of French Revolution, both positive and negative, played important role in the life of Napoleon. How? Revolution created a new France based upon these are the ideals: liberty, equality, and fraternity. Liberty from exploitation, equality, and fraternity. Law and constitutional. Revolution had destroyed the old France based upon the monarchy, and new order was brought in picture. Offices, it is not officer, office were thrown open to merit. Earlier king used to appoint, even though violence, etc., everything was happening, directory was not functioning properly, but now recruitment, at least some meritorious people used to come. Okay, so Napoleon was raised in his military level because of his merit, because of his generalship. He was a born genius. The excesses committed during the revolution, the violence committed during the revolution fed up the people. The people were fed up because of the violence. Instead of liberating the masses from economic hardship, the directory or the new regime also could not do much for the removal of hardship of the people. Let me write. King was replaced. New order. Constitution, etc., was established. Constitution, rule of law was established. But it economic hardship of the people could not be taken care of. They were still suffering. Extreme violence. People aspired for peace. They were thinking we will not be exploited, lot of peace and harmony will be there. But reign of terror, 2 years, 50,000 people were killed. Extreme violence was there. People aspired for fraternity, but they were killing each other. So it is like power was given to common people. Directory में 5 directors were there. They were fighting among themselves. One was saying, no, no, we will do this way. Another was saying, we will do this way, we will do this way. So the policies were fluctuating. No stability in the policies. So people were fed up. What these guys are doing. For example, tomorrow, now why people are supporting Mr. Modi? Because they think the Congress में there is no face. Tomorrow, for example, they bring Congress or this United Alliance. Then somebody will say my prime minister will be there. Somebody will say my prime minister will be there. Somebody will say we will implement this policy. We will implement that policy. So like that fluctuation in policy frustrated the people. They want stability. So Napoleon was the only person who could promise all these things. He has set the example in Italy. After conquering Italy, he established means a good system there. Trade was properly done. Then education system he has improved. Road rail network he has improved. So many things he has done. Okay. Road network. Rail was not there at that time. So Napoleon has proved his administrative acumen through reform initiated by him in Italy. So some example he has said. For example, Arvind Kejriwal, what he says, he gives the example of good school in Delhi. The government school in Delhi is having swimming pool, horse riding, smart classes like this. Government school, can you imagine? And now the people of bureaucrats are also dying to get admission in that school. So it is the transformation of education system. So that is the system he wanted. He was supposed to be sent to Singapore. He was supposed to go to Singapore to present about Delhi schools, but he was denied his visa out of politics. So, so these are the things. Napoleon proved his administrative capability. People got convinced that he is the person. Common masses, they made up their mind to surrender to Napoleon and elect him. Similar case like Modi ji. We have voted for him in 2019 also. We think he will bring some change. He will bring so many things. That is why we have voted for him. Whether he says only or he does, that is to be seen. Failure of directory, I have already multiple times I have told, directory was not functioning properly. They were fighting among themselves. So the executive body was failure. Same thing. Economic experiments also failed. For example, devaluation of currency. Okay, the devaluation, it is not devaluation, devaluation. The value of currency was reduced. Okay. So say economic damage happened. Okay. So that again deteriorated the situation of France. So that was a cause of disaffection towards directory. External affairs also, directory was not able to take decision whether to fight a war or not to fight a war. What kind of strategy to be adopted. Prussia and Austria, they were attacking, how to tackle them. So directory failed in that. On the other hand, Napoleon was winning in Egypt, in Italy, and everywhere else. So that was the contrast. So failure at the external and internal front had turned the masses against the system of directory, and it was overthrown by Napoleon. Napoleon overthrew it. People did not say anything. People accepted Napoleon. Okay. Role of military success, I have already told. You can give example of Italy and Egypt. So that is enough. You are a good commander. Acha, one more thing. When France made all these things were happening, European powers, Prussia, Austria, even Britain also, they used to get together. When they used to group against France, that is called as European coalition. Prussia, Austria, Britain, and other European countries time to time. They used to group together against France. So 4 times they have grouped together against France. So this grouping is called as European coalition. So first European coalition in 1792-93. Every time Napoleon was the person who defeated these guys. One of the commanders who defeated these guys. Okay. So French एक human एक country का character भी हो जाता है. There is every country, every nation has their own character. For example, Americans. Why most of the companies, if you see, most of the companies, especially food related companies, whether it is Pizza Hut, KFC, or McD, McDonald's, they have that kind of self-service kind of culture. And British restaurant, if you will see, they will be more formal. There will be waiter, you will be sitting, somebody will be serving you, right? So it is a culture of the country. Similarly, some countries are materialistic. Americans, if you see the history, they are the people who are mostly Britishers. They were prosecuted, they were punished, and they were sent to America as a punishment. America was a colony, they were sent as a punishment. Now there, what they did, they established their property, they did hard work, they accumulated money. So that culture is there, materialistic culture is there. America may more capitalistic, accumulative culture is there, accumulate money, accumulate money. India में थोड़ा सा spiritual kind of culture is there, right? We tend to be spiritual. So every nation has its own character. Somebody believe in glory or bravery and idealism. Somebody believe in pragmatism. है ना? So every country has, the population of the country has its own character. French people, they love the glory of France. They love the pride. In Indian national freedom struggle also, you see, when we have started studying history, Britishers came, they established in 1784 Asiatic Society of Bengal, which was basically dealing with the history of India. Then Britishers were interpreting the history of India that these guys were ignorant. But Indian people interpreted history that we had great past. So that spirit of pride they wanted to inculcate in the people. So likewise, everybody loves pride. For example, India wins World Cup, we feel happy, no? So same way, they also loved the glory. Why we are electing Mr. Modi? We say he has, you see, Indian names Even USA also talk about us. We feel pride. So same thing was there. So Napoleon was a symbol of pride and honor for French people. So they supported Napoleon. So he continued this work everywhere else. This will leave. Okay. So Napoleon took control of France from 1799 onwards. Few years he did not become monarch, but in 1804 he declared himself as the monarch of France. In 1804, Napoleon became king of France. 1804. He brought many changes. So let us see what changes. Continental system afterwards I will tell. Let us see what changes he has brought. Let me explain it. So where he was fitting. The three ideals of French Revolution are three ideals which are taken in our constitution. Like India में fraternity, so these are the three things for which French people fought: liberty, equality, fraternity, in that order. Liberty, equality, fraternity. Now we will see ki, to what extent these ideals were fulfilled by Napoleon, or for that matter French Revolution. If somebody asks you, the people of France fought for liberty, equality and fraternity, for the French Revolution could not fulfill all these aspirations, discuss, then what you are going to write? You will mention कि France became constitutional monarchy in 1792 when National Assembly framed 1792 when National Assembly framed the constitution. Are you able to recall? You will revise, then you will be able to recall. Okay, right. Now let us see what Napoleon has done. Sometimes I pity the students who are studying history because mind cannot follow what is being spoken. Mind can follow what is being displayed. Okay, so let us write more and speak less. So Napoleon, he tried to strengthen the spirit of brotherhood. What he did, he allowed immigrants. Who are immigrants? Those who went outside when violence was happening. After nobles, aristocrats who went outside Prussia and Austria, he called them like, okay, you come, don't worry, I will take care of it. So he called immigrants to return to France, and their property was also returned back. So by this, he tried to encourage the spirit of fraternity. Fraternity means what? Fraternity, brotherhood. All are brothers. Equal तो अलग है. हाँ सहोदर. Hmm. So fraternity. Economic hardship. The foremost problem of the people of France was economic hardship. What steps Napoleon has taken for economic hardship? He established Bank of France in 1800. Roads network was developed by him. Bank of France is still there. Bank of France. Even some of the universities started by Napoleon, those are polytechnic colleges, are still there. So economics में there is a concept of laissez-faire. How you pronounce it, ma'am? Laissez-faire. Correct. So in economics, this term is used. Laissez-faire means open market. Means market forces, demand and supply will decide how the economy will go. No intervention of the government. Okay. So he established the laissez-faire system. Means open market. Whatever will be the demand, it will be produced accordingly. Rates will be decided by the demand and supply. So free market, not open market, basically free market. So he adopted the principle of free market. He formulated a code or a law. So Napoleon formulated law, a uniform law all over Bangalore or all over France. Okay, uniform. It was called as Code Napoleon. Code Napoleon. Code Napoleon. So uniformity of law. During the French Revolution, the church was governed by its own rules and by its own bylaws, etc. People wanted that this church should also to be governed with the civil laws, which was protested by the churches. But when Napoleon came into power, he talked to the Pope. He said, "Ki, by and large, you guys also will be governed with the civil laws. Okay. However, we will take care of your property, etc. Everything will be taken care, but you will be governed by the civil laws." Okay. That arrangement he has made. He could not offend Pope also, because many of the people were followers of Pope. So he discussed the matter in such a way that both side win-win situation is there. Okay. So through the concordant was a body, will not go into detail. Napoleon had established peace with the Pope. Churches had agreed to limit its activity to the sphere of religion and continuation of essential ideas of. Okay. So basically, churches were defined in terms of their roles, and they were also will be governed by the civil laws. Napoleon, wherever he went, whether Italy, Egypt, he brought the same ideals everywhere. For example, Italy, I have already told, education system he has improved, road network he has improved, infrastructurally he has improved. Similarly, Germany, if you remember, I mentioned this is France, this is Prussia, this is Rhineland area, and this is Austria, right? This was this region. So Napoleon conquered all these things during his time, all these things. And wherever he has gone, he did the development as he has done in France. Similar development. Same ideas, fraternity, equality, etc. He implemented, education system he has improved, so many things he has done. Okay. So he was given the name as a liberator also. Okay. So Italy and Germany reforms were introduced by Germany. We are using the word Germany. Basically, at that time it was not Germany. It's Rhineland area. This area he has reformed the things. We will see when German unification we will do. That time we will see what reformation he has done. Okay. Then guild system. Guild system. What is guild? Association of the artisans or association of a particular professionals. For example, film star, Tamil Nadu film industry, what do you call it? Tollywood, Collywood, Tollywood, Collywood. Okay. So, for example, Collywood artist guild. So, what they will do? They will take care of the welfare of those guys. But at that time, guild system, what they were doing, the new person is coming, or new persons wanted to start a business, they were not allowing them to do. So, kind of monopoly they were doing. So, like the various distortions were there. It is just an example to understand. So sometimes these guilds they play a lobby. Okay, they do not allow anybody else to develop. So Napoleon distorted all those kinds of guilds. So ultimately, it helps in development of economic activities, right? So what he did, he wiped out the guild system. Feudal institutions also were uprooted. Feudal institutions means same that some area somebody will rule, somebody will take tax, somebody will maintain army. So those systems, by and large, he wiped out. He took control in his hands. Liberty, equality, and fraternity were promoted. Now, these were the positive things of the revolution which he has implemented. There are some things which he has done opposite to the ideals of revolution. Opposite to the ideals of revolution. What he has done? Some of the fundamentals of revolution were curtailed by him. The revolution was guided by the principle of liberty, right? What he has done, tired of excess restriction imposed by state, etc. This is the background. What he has done basically, Napoleon also curtailed their liberty to some extent. Okay, I will rule, I will bring peace, but you have to obey my orders. He told like that. No public gathering could take place. He said कि भाई ये जो gathering I'll not allow because violence is happening. I'll control violence. But if I pass order, you have to oblige. So public gathering permissions without the permission of the state, public gathering cannot happen. So ultimately controlling the liberty. Free voice of the newspapers, etc., was suppressed by him. Okay, free voice of the newspapers was suppressed by him. Basically, separation of power, executive separate, judiciary separate, legislative separate. Those things were there. But Napoleon took control over all these things, even though not directly, but he was controlling everything. Okay. So French Revolution was guided by the spirit of constitutionalism, but Napoleon took control of legislature, executive, and judiciary. Okay. These institutions. For example, nowadays we are also doing to some extent. We are putting pressure on judiciary. We are legislative procedure. We are not following properly. Ordinance लेके आए हैं. Without any discussion, night में ordinance लेके आएंगे and we will implement. Ordinance is bypass route generally. So likewise, some of the things were done by Napoleon. Next is he declared himself as the king of France in 1804. So basically, France was not republic now. Okay. Acha. So that's all. So this was the content. So Napoleon did something as per the ideals of French Revolution, some other things against the ideals of French Revolution. Okay. All right. Napoleon, some things done as per the ideals of French Revolution, like road system, education. One or two slides we have seen now, and some other things against the ideal. For example, one more example I'll give you. He put his relatives in some of the power positions, and the Legion of Honor, one of the highest honor in France, like our Bharat Ratna. He used to give the people whom he liked or his own near and dear ones. Okay. So he was also not following complete merit system and all. So some things he has done as per the ideals of French Revolution, something against the ideals of French Revolution. Okay. Now, this is the last topic today we will do. What is the time? Continental system. Very important system. This system became reason for his fall. European coalition were formed. What is European coalition? European coalition. Time to time, these were the groups made against France. In that, mostly Prussia, Austria, and Britain used to instigate. Britain used to instigate these nations against France. Okay. But every time Napoleon used to win because of his military power or because of his military strategy. Now, if you see the map of Europe, if you see, I'll draw the map here. 1 minute. I'll draw the map here. This is France. This is Rhineland area. Rhineland. Okay. This is Prussia. This is Austria. France के this side पे Spain is there. And here Russia is there. Right. And this side Italy is there. Okay, Italy. Now this Europe, this complete Europe is called as continental Europe. Continental Europe. Okay. So this is continental. Now forget about continental Europe. You tell me one thing. If we say Europe, whether Britain comes in Europe, Britain is not Europe. Britain is not Europe. Who told? Who told? If we say only Europe, Britain comes in Europe only. No, Britain is not in which continent Britain is in. India is in which continent? Asia, right? Russia is in which continent? Asia, mostly Asia, right? France is in which continent? Europe. Britain is in which continent? Europe only. Europe. Britain is not in North America. Britain is not in South America. Britain is not in Asia. Britain is not in Antarctica. Britain is not in ऊपर वाला जो Arctic water. Then Europe only. If you want to see that way. Okay. Why it is called as continental Europe? Because Britain is also part of Europe. But Britain is an island nation. Britain के this side also sea is there. This side also sea is there. Britain is an island nation. Okay. So that is why this portion is called as continental, mostly landmass. But Britain being an island nation, that is separate. So if you combine it, both are Europe. And if you leave it, this is continental Europe. Okay. Understood, ma'am? Okay. Now what used to happen whenever war used to happen? Napoleon, being in France, he was very good military man in pitched battles, face-to-face battles. Land पे whatever battles are happening, he was very good. So whichever country is there, he used to defeat. Russia was defeated, Prussia was defeated, Austria was defeated, Italy defeated. Everybody used to defeat. Problem comes here, Britain. For defeating Britain, he has to cross this English Channel. He has to have some naval power. Navy should be there because here sea is there. He has to cross and go there and then defeat them. But at that time in the historically, the navy of Britain has always been supreme. One of the best navy. Okay, so the naval power of Britain was much more than France. So Napoleon, even though he wanted, he could not defeat Britain. Here he used to defeat. Coalition means when your friend will be defeated, how long you will survive there, right? So out of 4 powers, 3 are defeated, one alone cannot keep on fighting. Ultimately, they are also fighting here only. He is sending support there. Britain is sending support here. And they are fighting here. And all these will be defeated, what Britain will do? Whom he will send support? Okay. But France could not directly defeat Britain. Now he thought how to tackle Britain. Every time they are only creating instigation here, they are only creating trouble. They are only creating that coalition against us. So he thought of killing Britain economically. I cannot defeat them militarily, I'll defeat them economically. So he brought this continental system to defeat Britain economically. Okay, so let us start. What he did, before this, Britishers came to India when? First British company, when they came to India? 1600, 1600, East India Company. It was given monopoly by Queen, whatever Queen was there, with a charter. Charter means some kind of order. Only East India Company will trade with India. Other companies are not allowed. For example, Reliance we send. Only Reliance will trade with Africa. Airtel, Adani, nobody will be allowed. Like that charter was given to East India Company. So 1600 they came. And afterwards they controlled many of the territories of India. They were taking resources. Bengal, Battle of Plassey happened in 1757. Right? So after that they started taking resources, and we are talking about 1804 now. So almost 50 years are over. right? So Britain is having resources from its colonies. Now, what Napoleon thought, I'll choke Britain's trade. If Britain will not get enough money, their people will struggle, and then I'll see. Okay. Again, let me draw the map. This is Britain and this is continental Europe. Britain used to send daily use goods in continental Europe. So whatever food, grain, etc. So daily use में whatever things were there, they used to sell here many things. So continental Europe was also dependent upon Britain. Okay. Now, what he did in 1806, Napoleon prohibited the entry of British goods. He prohibited, your goods will not come into Europe. Because all of Europe he was controlling because of his military power, he issued some orders. If any ship comes on a particular area and that ship belongs to Britain, we will destroy that ship. So like that, he brought this system. So only entry of British goods in continental Europe was stopped. But the goods of Europe could go to Britain. For example, Prussia want to sell something, they can sell. France want to sell something, they can sell. But British goods will not be allowed to enter. Okay, because most of these guys, they were earning money because of this export. So he wanted to cut that. So other many orders were issued by Napoleon to cut down that. So this is called as the continental system. So continental system was an economic weapon by Napoleon Bonaparte against British Empire. It involved only prohibition on entry of British goods in the markets of continental Europe. Continental countries were allowed to export. It was introduced to control the British Empire. Militarily, Napoleon has failed. Same thing is written in the slides. Now what has happened? I'll not read the slides. I have already explained. You can read the same thing it is written. Now what has happened? He stopped the export. Okay. He thought after some time Britain will choke and they will come and have some kind of peace treaty with me. That was the thought process of Napoleon. He thought if I choke their trade, after some time they will bend down or on their knees and they will say, okay, we will agree with you, we will not form any coalition, etc. That he thought. But what has happened? Somehow Britain survived this blockage of trade. How they have survived? Because Britain had their own colonies. Like India was one of the colonies. Lot of money they were getting from India. And they were selling their products also in the colonies. Okay, if the trade is choked in continental Europe, they started trading more and more with the colonies. Okay, not only here, some colonies in Africa also, and some colonies somewhere else also, like that. British companies were trading with other parts also. So initially, Britain faced a severe economic crunch, but they survived that economic crunch because of the trade with the colonies. Now, what has happened? On the other side, the continental Europe's people also needed daily use goods and other goods which were coming from Britain. So for some time they can adjust, but for long duration they cannot adjust. So people dissatisfaction started coming in continental Europe. Do you understand? It's a game of survival. Who will blink first? Okay. So Britain survived, but the people of Europe could not survive. So they suffered and they were dissatisfied and dissatisfaction started coming in. So continental system was imposed by him with great enthusiasm. He was expecting a quick meltdown of British economy, but it did not happen. There were some contradiction in this policy. What happened? He himself also made some mistakes. When he blocked this trade, anyway, Britain started trading with the colonies. But at one point of time, Britain needed some grains. Ironically, Napoleon himself provided the grains. So it gave, out of diplomatic decision, he might have provided. He, I will create my goodwill in Britain or something if I provide grain. But it went ulta. Britain survived this tough period. But continental Europe के common people, they could not survive this tough period, and then dissatisfaction started. So grain shortage was there. Napoleon exported wheat and corn to Britain to squeeze Britain out all money, so that whatever money they are having, that also they will cough up. But it did not work well. Britain also, what they do, because of their supreme navy, they also forced continental ships to give money, like some kind of taxation, because they were having better. So whenever some ship is going nearby Britain, they used to hold and some license fee or something, that kind of things they took. So due to prohibition of entry of British goods, the public of continental Europe started facing shortage of the daily consumables, and French industries failed in filling the gap. Demand was more, French industries were not capable of filling the supply gap. So popular pressure forced the monarch of Europe, Russia, Spain, all these monarchs, they rose against Napoleon. Napoleon failed to understand this compulsion and tried to keep them under control by force. But ultimately, after some time, Napoleon will also yield. So that was the continental system. So continental system by Napoleon was to subjugate Britain. What he did, he stopped only entry of the British goods in continental Europe, but he failed in his experiment. Now, what were the consequences of continental system? It will bring the downfall of the empire of Napoleon. So Napoleon's empire will fall because of continental system. How it will fall? Consequences of very soon popular discontent started to surface and nationalist rebellion broke out. Napoleon's military campaign against Russia in 1812 ended in miserable failure. So till now, up to 1807, 1808, he was able to control. After that, he was here rebellion, there rebellion, there rebellion. He was not able to control. In 1812, he failed in Russia. Till this time, Napoleon was treated as invincible. Nobody can win against Napoleon. But everybody has downfall. Plus, some health reason were also there, some medical reason, like Shivaji also. The people who continuously ride on horse, after some age, they have back problem. Even for us normal people, as we grow in age, various ailments will start. So same way Napoleon also, some health issues started coming, and then slowly decline of Napoleon happened. But continental system played an important role in the fall of Napoleon. So if somebody says continental system was played very important role in decline of Napoleonic empire, discuss. Then you will tell what is continental system, how it created disaffection against Napoleon, and then started with Russia, then other countries also. Rebellion in Spain also happened. Russia may was defeated, and then Spain also, he could not control the rebellion. So like that, downfall of Napoleon started. Okay. One more topic should we cover? Huh? One more topic we will cover. Spain. Ma'am? Acha, one more topic. Uh, uh, okay. No, I also want to learn. Tamil में what you will call? Ur? हाँ. तले पे पड़ेगा okay. But Tamil is a very beautiful language. It's my misfortune that I am not understanding it. So much of beautiful literature is written in Tamil, right? So great. And the beauty of a language can be judged by the richness of its vocabulary and the words. For example, in Tamil, any particular word, it conveys so deep meanings, right? That is the richness of a language. One word conveys so many emotions or so deep emotions. That is the beauty. There are some languages which are very shallow, but Tamil as a language, it is very deep, right? That is the beauty. So the writer or the author will write few things, but they will convey so many things, है ना? So that is where literature comes in. Okay. Uh, Tirukural, Ponniyin Selvam, right? Selvan, Selvan. And then Mani Megalai, वो तो है ही. Sangam literature, Mani Megalai is there. Then what is that? Silapadikaram, right? So many things are there. So Spain. The position of Spain, you know, France के this side, left side पे down. Now Spain also, let me write here. What was the dynasty in France? Bourbon dynasty. Spain also same dynasty. Their relatives only were ruling when Napoleon became the monarch of France. So 1804, Napoleon became monarch of France. Bourbon dynasty was ruling in Spain. Now there was a dispute between son and father in Spain. Bourbon dynasty का between son and father. Napoleon got to know that there is a struggle of throne going on, struggle of the seat or power is going on. What he did, neither father will get nor son will get, my relative will get. So what he did, he put his relative on the throne of Spain. Okay. But generally sometimes the people of a particular nation, they are loyal to a particular royal family. Or for that matter, we are loyal to Indian. We want Indian Prime Minister or we want Indian ruler only. Somebody Britishers or somebody will come and rule. We don't like it. So people of Spain did not like this act of Napoleon. It was a deceiving act, with some kind of cheating by the Napoleon. So what he did, King Charles and his Prince Ferdinand, they were fighting over the crown. Napoleon treacherous cheat with the cheat. He put his cousin on the throne, his brother on the Spanish throne. He made him the ruler. People of Spain did not like it, so people started revolting against the ruler. Now, what has happened? These were small groups. One group will come, they will attack, and they will go away. This technique is called as, this technique of warfare is called as guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla. You know guerrilla? Guerrilla warfare, like this Maoist, what they do? Police caravan is going or police camp is there. They will come in small group, they will attack and they will go away. This technique is called as guerrilla warfare. So now these guys, the people of Spain or the rebellions of Spain, they were attacking the Spanish, or they were attacking the army of the Napoleon, and they were disappearing. Napoleon was very good in pitched battle. Pitched battle means one to one. You bring whatever large army you want to bring, we will kill you. But small group attack and disappear. Then again you will make some strategy, attack and disappear. That is very difficult. For that matter, our army or police or CRPF also, they can kill anybody. But this guerrilla surprise attack and then going, that is why we are not able to tackle them. Right? And moreover, using air force or bigger weapon for our own people, it is not moral. That's why our army, they are not using tank, wang and all those kind of things. Our own citizen, we are not supposed to use excess power, like machine guns, etc. The war में use की जाती है. We are not supposed. Then human rights angle will come. So Napoleon was invincible in face-to-face battles, but these rebellions were guerrilla warfare. So ultimately, after a long time, they had to forego. So Napoleon had to leave Spain. So ultimately, the impression about Napoleon also got shattered. That Napoleon can be defeated, and the others also got courage. That is why 1812 May Russia defeated Napoleon after getting courage from this incident. And then some other countries, it happens, like some strong person is there, I'll say, hey, don't do anything. Then everybody is fearing. Then one person suddenly come and slaps me and disappears. 2, 3 times he will do, then others also think we can do, we can also do, right? So that way everybody else mustered courage, and by that time militarily he was also declining. So the time changes like this. Somebody is strong, he will become weak. So the active help provided by Britain was also providing help to Spain. Spanish rebels had also strengthened the challenge before Napoleon. England has sent its best of its commander to assist and some other material, etc. For example, here also Manipur, this thing is happening. Myanmar, through Myanmar, Chinese support, it comes. Okay, Chin area is there. So China ka support, because right now Myanmar mein military rule is there. So China's support in northeast turbulence, it is always there. Drug peddling, so many things are happening. Okay. So likewise, Britain was supplying there. Ultimately, in 1812, Napoleon had to leave Spain. Similarly, he was defeated in Russia also. So it was the decline of Napoleon. The success of Spanish nationalists had shattered the myth of Napoleon's invincibility. And then everywhere else, rebellion has happened. Europeans, monarchy, they understood that now Napoleon is weak. Then Europeans' power came together once again. They formed the Fourth European Coalition. And Napoleon was defeated in 2 battles. In 1813, he was defeated in Battle of Leipzig. Leipzig is in France, I assume. Okay. And in 1815, Napoleon was defeated in Battle of Waterloo. So, Fourth European Coalition defeated Napoleon in Battle of Leipzig. and Battle of Waterloo. Basically, finally, in Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon was defeated. I'll write it again. Waterloo. Waterloo. This happened in 1815. This happened in 1813. And then old order will be re-established. So now France started from monarchy, became constitutional monarchy, republic, constitutional monarchy. During the time of Napoleon, it was constitutional monarchy. Then now, after defeat of Napoleon, it will become again monarchy. So reverse cycle. Okay. So full absolute monarchy. Old order was established. One more question related to Napoleon. The military work of Napoleon. The military work of Napoleon was short-lived. Short-lived. The military work of Napoleon was, the word used is ephemeral, English word, ephemeral, bubble, water bubble or soap bubble. We do not know how much life it is having, very short life. You touch it and it will go away, vanish. So that is ephemeral, very short life. So the military work of Napoleon was ephemeral, but his civil work was long lasting. Substantiate. Substantiate means, yesterday I told, what do you understand by substantiate? You have to strengthen this argument. You have to give some examples in support of this argument. Okay. So what he is saying, the military work done by Napoleon was short-lived. It vanished after some time. After Napoleon was deposed, 1815, immediately after that, everything went off. But the civil work continued. Even the civil work is continued today. Bank of France, a university, the Polytechnic College, even the police service, all the systems which he started are still existing. Okay. So what examples we will give here? For example, Italy may, whatever control he has done, what he did, what he did, this is the shape of Italy. This is called as alpine area. Okay, he combined this area. We call it as cis alpine state. So common economic system he started. So see, he established cis alpine state in Italy. Okay. Similarly, Germany, after that Rhineland area. Rhineland area, there were 300 small states or principalities were there. He combined those principalities and 39 Rhineland states he formed. Okay, combining 300, reduced it to 39. Similarly, he captured almost whole of, for example, this is continental Europe, Prussia, Austria, and northern Italy portion, France तो है ही है, Spain by and large, at least up to rebellion he was having control, right? Up to 1812 he was having control, right? So all these things were under the control of Napoleon. But once he was departed, everything went out of control. Old order was re-established. All the dynasties, whatever ruling dynasties were there, they were re-established. For example, Bourbon dynasty here, Habsburg dynasty here, like that. Okay. So after departing of Napoleon, all the political entities which were under his control got independence from his control, and old order was re-established. So it means his military work could not last long, right? But the civil work, what civil work he has done? Let us see what is the civil work he has done. So he established chain of schools in France. Syllabus was also like a centralized body is controlling what should be taught. All these things. Teachers were trained by the state, and these are the hardcore facts. 1802, he started a school called as Lycée School. 1802, he started a school called as Lycée School. Some changes he is bringing in education system. French University was founded in 1808. 1808. Teachers training. Teachers training institutes were also created. How they are going to teach. So education system is specific value system they introduced. To bring discipline among the people, he joined hand with the Pope also. He made peace with the Pope. Frenchmen had great respect for the church, and he joined hand and he removed the evils of the church, and he confined it to the religious matters, and they were guided by the civil laws. So peace accord was signed by him with the Pope. Some more civil works are there. Code Napoleon was, he unified the laws, uniform law were implemented. So Code Napoleon is still being used. Means like our Constitution, Government of India Act 1935, it makes a major part. In 1935, British government, they brought an act which is called as Government of India Act 1935. Our constitution is based upon that act, you know. So almost 60% of the constitution is based upon Government of India Act 1935. Similarly, today's whatever constitution, whatever laws are there in France, many of them are derived from Code Napoleon. Okay. He created civil services. He created police department. Like this word you heard, na? SP, Superintendent of Police. Okay. Napoleon created that intendant system. So police system, bureaucratic system created by Napoleon is still prevalent in France. Okay. Equally, Polytechnic College was also established by Napoleon. Bank of France, Paris Museum, all these things were established by Napoleon, which are still available there. Extensive road network was established by Napoleon. So because of short-lived character of his military conquests and long-lasting character of his civil work, it is said that his military work was ephemeral, but his civil work is long-lasting. So you can give examples, right? That's all. After that, Napoleon Empire declined. 1815 के बाद, when Napoleon was defeated, all these big nations, Prussia, Austria, Britain, Russia, they met in Vienna. So all these bigger powers, after defeating Napoleon, they met in Vienna. Vienna, where is Vienna? Where is Vienna? Vienna is capital of Austria. Okay, and this meeting is called as Congress of Vienna. So after defeating Napoleon, Prussia, Austria, Britain, Russia, these bigger powers, they had a meeting in Vienna, which is called as Congress of Vienna. In Congress of Vienna, what was done? The old order was established. In France and rest of the Europe. So whatever all the dynasties were there, same dynasties were put back. For example, France, Bourbon dynasty, Austria, Habsburg Empire, like that. Old order of monarchy was set up. Old system was again reset back. Okay. But you cannot wipe out the minds of the people. वो बोलते हैं ना, like in Hindi there is a saying, शेर के मुंह पे खून लग गया, like the lion has tasted the blood. Okay, now the people, they have felt the liberty, they have felt the aspirations of their liberty, equality, fraternity under Napoleon to whatever extent. Now they cannot go back to old order. Now for example, today, can we take out all the smartphones from our life? We will like क्या बोलेंगे, we will shake. So same thing was there. Then after this, what will happen? 1830 another revolution will happen. 1848 another revolution will happen. So these are the revolutions which we are going to cover in the next class. Today let us stop it here. So next class में after these revolutions, Italian unification and German unification we are going to see. Okay. Let us stop it now. It becomes too much, but that's okay. If you will revise, it will be okay. Not too much. Thank you. Any query? Yeah. Acha, questions. Let me go back to this slide. So first thing is, to what extent the philosopher played their role in French Revolution. है ना? So it can be seen from this question. Had there been no Rousseau, there would have been no French Revolution. Critically examine. Okay. Another question is,
French Revolution was a reaction against social inequality. And I am writing examine critically. So only social inequality was not the only reason, right? There were economic reasons also, other reasons also. So you have to mention all those and finally conclude. So French Revolution was a reaction against social inequality. Some more questions. So let me frame here. One more question you can write. I'll write here. French Revolution. Examine or analyze. French Revolution was partially successful and partially failed in meeting the aspiration of the people. Analyze. Analyze or examine have same meaning. Okay. So in next classes, more of map we will use, map, and more of writing we will use. Okay. Next class में 1830 and 1848 two more revolutions have happened. In France, revolution will happen in France. It will go up to whole of Europe. Similarly, 1848 it will happen in France. It will go to whole of Europe. Then Italian unification and German unification. So next two classes may we are trying to cover these four topics. Okay. Revolution of 1830 and 1848. So revolution of 1830, 1848, Italian unification and German unification. That's all for today. Thank you.